everyone, and welcome to another episode of my Woman Who Inspires series in this beautiful month of March. My name is Sreshtha Tewari. I am the director of the Self-Worth, Leadership and Empowerment Consultancy. I am a motivational speaker and a wholeness guide. And at the end of it all, I just want to do my part to bring about mental freedom for women, as much women as possible. In this series, we talk to a diverse group of women who have gone through what we deem as negative emotions. They have traversed these emotions to take them to a better place in their life and sometimes even their purpose. Today, I am really excited to have with me Roshni Saith. Roshni is an attorney in private practice, including family law. She works with resolution chambers and she holds her LLB, LPC, and a BSc in business. Welcome to the series, Roshni. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well today. And you?
I am good. So we are going to ask Roshni to share her emotional healing journey.
Wow. So as a mother of three, and an attorney in private practice, there are many emotional healing journeys I can share with you this morning. But I'm going to choose the one where I feel my life journey really started as a professional, as a wife, and as a mother, and as a young lady in society. I got married in 2008, actually. And immediately after getting married, my husband got an opportunity to move to Spain to work there. So as a young married woman, I was very happy to follow my husband to Spain and be by his side. And at that point, I had just finished my LLB. That is the first degree in law. And I was at crossroads as to where should my career take me? What should I do next? At that point, I decided, well, God is guiding me to Spain with my husband. England is a hop across the ocean from Spain. Maybe I should sign up to do my LPC. But I was at crossroads because that meant leaving him for a 9-month period. At that time, I then engaged in heavy correspondence with the university at which I was accepted to request that I be permitted to do the LPC part-time. They hesitated at first because they never allowed a non-resident student to engage in a part-time program. As a result of that, I did my research and I begged. I literally begged. I happened upon someone that smiled upon me at the university after I pleaded my case to her, and she decided to put in a word of acceptance for me on the part-time program and do it as a trial, basically. So I got accepted into the program part-time, which meant I can be in Spain with my husband, fulfill my wifely duties by standing at his side, supporting him in this new career endeavor of his, and at the same time, create something for myself for the future. And he was incredibly supportive, I have to say. Everyone in my life at that time said, Roshni, you can't travel from Spain to England once a week, every week, like a crazy person for 2 years to do what you can do in 9 months. Just leave him for 9 months and go and get it done. But that was against my very core and my very nature. Since everything for me at that point was sort of cultivating this young marriage. So I went against the odds. I knew the financial output would be a lot more. And of course, I worried every single day, is this worth it? Because it entailed me waking up at 3 o'clock every Monday morning, walking to the train station, taking a 2-hour train from Puerto Llano, where we lived, to Madrid, and then taking the underground metro in Madrid with about 5 different changes for another 2 hours to get to the airport. And then waiting in the airport for 3 or 4 hours to then catch a flight to Manchester or Liverpool, and then engage a taxi service from there to Stoke-on-Trent, where my university was. So I would leave where I lived at 3 a.m., and arrive in the university by 8 or 9 p.m. England time. And I had to do that every week on a Monday and then again on a Wednesday to return. And I would have classes all day on a Tuesday. So it was a crazy 2 years, as you can imagine. And in fact, on one of my first trips, I was stopped by immigration in England because they could not understand why I, as a single person, was coming to university as a non-resident on a part-time program. And it was my first experience of being attacked in an airport. They put me in a holding room. It was the first time I traveled alone. And I thought, oh, for sure, this is just a sign. I shouldn't go far with this at all. I got out of that situation, and you know what? I persevered. I looked at every single week and I marked it off on my calendar. I focused and I did what I had to do every week for 2 years. And I got it done successfully, but it was not an easy journey because it took so much physically, financially, and emotionally out of me to rip myself out of my life in Spain every week on a Monday and return on a Wednesday for 1 day of classes. But I persevered and I got it done. And what I want to share with you ladies, based on that experience, is don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. Only you know what you want out of life. Only you know what is important enough to you for you to make the sacrifices that you make to achieve the things that you will achieve. Right? So don't let anyone say no to you. Don't let any negative experience along the way break you down and make you regress in your thoughts. And remember, you know at your core what is important to you and what you want to achieve in life and what you want to come out with in the end. Stick to your guns and make it work. That's my lesson today.
Well, that's such a beautiful story and a beautiful love story as well. So I wanna go back to, you spoke about how you wanted to do this, and it really was a huge sacrifice, but the persons in your life were advising you against it. And this is something I want to bring out in this series, you know, as friends and as family. A lot of times when we are speaking to someone else, we are really projecting our own fears onto them and thinking within our own life, this is not going to work for us. And we unconsciously project this onto them without taking into account their reality and what they are going through. And I want to ask you, Roshni, if at that time your friends and your family were to be a little bit more supportive, what could they have said to you to make you feel more affirmed or more certain on this journey that you were going to go on to?
You know, the thing is, before I answer that, I want to say that my family, for example, they're my backbone, and they've always been supportive. But I think it was their own fear of little Roshni being dropped in the middle of this world to do this scary journey every single week. Can you do this? This is a whole different world, a different language, a different culture, a different everything. Are you sure? Is this safe for you? Is it better for you? And I know that all of their concerns were so valid because being a mother, I too may have those concerns with my kids. But as an individual, you have to sometimes just have faith. I had their love and I had their support once the decision was made. But sometimes in making a decision, God gives you so much love from different angles and different perspectives through parents and sisters and best friends. But that's just concern and to help your mind address all the challenges that will come your way. But you as a human, as a woman, as a young girl, as a professional, a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, you have to know inside of your core what you want to achieve at the end. So when all the challenges are filtered to you by the people who love you, your body, your soul, your mind has to act filter now, where you address your mind to the challenges and the difficulties, because that's the blessing they present in your life to remind you of these things. But in your core, it stops with you and what you ultimately want. And that's where your faith becomes so important.
Yeah, that is so beautiful, and it's so true that, you know, when persons talk to us, it is really out of their concern. But knowing who you are at heart and knowing what you can do and what you want to do and having faith, as you spoke about, is really what pushes you to know within yourself that you can do what you want to do. And I really want to honor you for taking such a bold decision and for sacrificing a huge amount of time, energy, and even mental wellness in order to be and support your husband and also pursue the things you want, because that is something a lot of persons don't understand, that being in a partnership, a relationship, if you're married, it is really about working out what is best for that nuclear unit, not what's best for everybody else. And it worked for you. You sacrificed, but you were able to go on and get your LPC, and now you're a successful attorney. So the sacrifice is all worth it. And you know, sometimes
it's worth it when.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, it feels worth it with each life that I'm able to touch through my practice.
Yeah.
And it's funny because every time I go home with a success story out of practice, up till today, this is 13 years later, my husband would turn to me and he'd say, "And you thought it was all for nothing when you were draining your energy and going every week and going to England. You were thinking, would I really ever make a difference?" He reminds me of that every time I come home 13 years later with a success story from practice. And that's the joy, knowing that it was for something.
Yeah. And that's another good point, because, you know, when we're going through it, it is normal and it is okay to feel that it is difficult and to wonder, because that wonder will push you to do more and more in order to get where you want to be. And sometimes when you're down, you have to sit in that place and you have to have your growth friends around, and in your case, your partner and your husband, who would help and support you. And that is one of the reasons it is so important to have people in your life who support you and who can see your beauty and your contribution when you can't see it in those moments for yourself. So Roshni, I want to ask you, those things that you experiences, those sacrifices that you made, are you grateful for them? And if yes, why?
I'm so grateful for them because it prepared me for life. Because that's life. You become a young professional, and your profession and your career, it takes turns beyond your wildest expectations and imagination. I started off in a corporate position and then came into private practice. Again, when I was making that decision to jump, I had all the people around me with all of the care and the concern. Private practice is really hard. You have security in a corporate position. Why would you leave it? But again, I knew I had become a young mother and I wanted my time to be my time, while at the same time touching the lives of people out there, which I felt I was not able to do in a corporate position. And that's why I went into the private practice. And had I not had the experience of Spain and England and that decision and that fortitude and that focus and faith, I would have not had that center knowing at the end of the day, I need to know what I want, because it works out in the end when you follow what is in your heart. So that experience taught me to always have faith, to always have strength. The strength comes from you, not from the people around you, you know, but from you. You can't over depend. It's from you. And it helped me to manage all of the tides that came my way, jumping from corporate to private and even in private practice to date, which is not an easy road. So had I not had that experience, I don't know if I would have been prepared for all that my profession and motherhood brought my way. So I am very grateful for it in that regard. And like I said before, every time a client leaves me happy or with a problem solved, no matter how small or how big a problem it was, knowing that I had a hand in that because of the sacrifice that I made all those years ago, that in itself is the reward.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful. I love how you're so passionate about touching and having that value for your clients. You can see that you are truly fulfilled in what you do. And I want to ask you one last thing. What would you tell your younger self?
Don't give up. Persevere, because God made you for a purpose and you're going to find it.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Roshni. It's such a beautiful, to me, it's a love story. It's a story about perseverance, that while you are in this nuclear unit with your partner, you can still be all that you want to be, and you can follow your heart. You can do the things that you want, and you can get to a happy place in your life, in your career, knowing that whatever challenges come your way, you are able to traverse through them, keeping your faith and through perseverance. So
thank you very
again so much. You're welcome for sharing. And to my audience, I hope you are inspired by such a beautiful story. I don't think I have any other stories like this. So I'm very grateful to Roshni for sharing. And I will see you guys tomorrow. This is Sreshtha Tewari. Bye.